Hello, Judge Bell. Thank you for taking the time to share your experiences for our Centennial Oral History. If you would just start with your name and when did you first begin practicing law or take the bench, and what drew you to the legal profession?
Okay. I'm Judge Bruce Bell, lifelong Lexingtonian. Other than going away to college, I've been in Lexington my entire life. And I've kind of had two legal careers. I started off in the early 80s after going to UK law school and practiced in the law firm of Fowler, Measle, and Bell. The Bell is my late father, Tommy Bell, who started the firm in the 1950s. And so unfortunately, he passed away a few years after I started practicing law, but I was with that firm for over 20 years. And then I was appointed to the bench in 2004 and have been there a district court judge in Fayette County for 21 and a half years.
Wow. What was the legal community like when you were first starting out, like early mentors, and how did that influence your career?
Well, my dad was my main mentor, and I was very blessed. I'm an only child, and I had great parents, and so my dad, whatever he'd say jump, I'd say how high, but he was just very involved in the community and a great lawyer. Actually got the Henry T. Duncan Award one year, which is the outstanding judge in Lexington. He was very proud of that. And Guy Colson, after he died, was a big mentor and a good friend. And the legal community when I first started was different in a lot of ways. I'd say the one thing that stands out to me is, our firm at Fowler, Measle, and Bell, 15 to 20 lawyers, was one of the largest firms in Lexington. And then the Louisville and Cincinnati firms came in and merged, and there became the larger firms. I guess other than Saul, Kenyon, Park, there were maybe 4 or 5 others that were 15 to 20 lawyers, and now there's several large law firms. So that's the thing that stands out the most to me.
What role has the Fayette County Bar Association played in your professional life, or any moments, programs, or traditions that really stand out to you?
I remember when I first started practicing law that I joined the Fayette County Bar Association, primarily to get to know other lawyers. And it was a social time. We'd have different functions. And, I still to this day attend the summer picnic and the Christmas party. But it was a good place for mentorship and just connecting with other lawyers. I attended a lot of the CLE programs, actually participated as a judge a couple of years since I've been on the bench. One thing that and I think we still have this is lawyer referral service. When I first started practicing, I didn't have many cases other than the ones that my firm gave me. So I got in that program and received some cases. So I thought that was helpful. But those are some things. And, today I serve as the judge representative on the Fayette County Bar Foundation for the last 8 years. And I've really enjoyed that, being on that board and the folks that are on there. And I think it's a great organization. I was one of the original fellows 25 years ago or so. And we now have over $1.5 million in our bank account. And last year we gave $55,000 to various organizations in the legal community. And I think it's a really good organization. We do a lot of good things.
Yeah, and it's a dynamic board too. Like, they're super organized. The foundation is really, I'm glad
Proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. Is there a case or moment that really sticks with you, or a story that captures what practicing law in Fayette County has meant?
Of course, my most recent memories are being a judge these last over 20 years. And, district court, when I do jury orientation, I always say to the prospective jurors that, trying to describe what district court is all about. And it's, we're the people's court, but we have such a wide variety of cases. So I always say that one of my favorite movies is Forrest Gump. And when he says, you know, life's a box of chocolates. I always say district court is like a box of chocolates because we don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah.
And there's so many different cases. And, you know, that's one of the things I've really enjoyed being a judge. You know, we do from probate to civil to landlord tenant to juvenile cases, but we know probably 70% of our cases are criminal. But we do disability cases, and it's a wide range of cases that, you know, make it interesting.
Right. Right. What changes in the profession have stood out to you most over your career?
Gosh, you know, show you how old I am. When I first started, you know, secretaries were using typewriters and word processors, and of course we've gone computerized, and now we're at the stage where we're almost paperless.
Yeah.
And it's been a transition for a dinosaur like me, but it's, you know, I've been able to figure it out, and it's all good. It makes things more efficient. It speeds things along because you've got things in your queue that you got to be watching. You know, I think the attorneys expect you to, you know, sign their orders quicker than they used to. But those are probably that's probably one of the things. The other thing is, you know, when I started practicing law in the 80s, we had a lot of jury trials, and now we didn't have mediation back then. So I think mediation has changed the way people practice law, especially on the civil side, and even our criminal courts. I think in circuit they do a lot of mediation, and so I think the mediation is a good thing. And you know, I tried a lot of cases in the 80s and 90s, and not so much after that.
Right. That is really interesting. Yeah, I could totally see that, especially after the pandemic too, like, and getting back into that in-person feel.
That's another change you bring up is when with COVID, we started doing Zoom court, which I can't say I was a fan of.
Right.
And I'm still not. We on occasion allow Zoom. We prefer not to because I think it's very important for the litigants to come to court, especially the criminal litigants, just because I think they need to understand the seriousness of their charges and be in person. But you know, on occasion, you know, we allow that for people that are out of state on probate or something like that. But Zoom is that's changed the world, especially in, you know, all the meetings that we have. I'm the chief judge over here, and we have a lot of bar association, not just local, but state bar association meetings. And we do a lot of that on Zoom, which I think is very helpful. We don't all have to travel.
Right.
And so that's a good thing.
Or be away from your docket, or, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
Sure.
Double-edged sword.
No question.
What advice would you give young lawyers or future judges just getting started?
You know, as far as young lawyers, I think, you know, when I started, of course, I was lucky being with my father's firm, and I worked under his mentorship, tutelage, if you will. And we were a general practice firm, but I think, you know, in hindsight, you know, I think you want to find a niche, you know, as a lawyer, so you can be good at something. I mean, there's a lot of different areas of law. So I'd suggest you try to find a niche when you're practicing law, something you really like, and go from there. You know, as far as other, you know, suggestions to lawyers that come before our court, you know, simple things like be on time. I mean, that irritates us judges when you're not on time and we have to wait for you and make our court go longer. You know, I always tell people, fight the battles you need to fight. I mean, I know defense lawyers, especially in criminal court, have a job to do to represent their clients, and they need to do that. But, you know, be respectful of the judges when we overrule your motions for bond reduction and things like that. But, you know, try to fight the battles you really need to fight, and not just do it just because you think you should do it.
Right. What values do you believe should never change in the legal profession?
Well, just the simple values of life. I mean, honesty, integrity, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated. Be respectful of each other, no matter whether or not you're on opposite sides in a courtroom. Those are the simple things that I would suggest. Those values, I think, carry us throughout our life.
Yeah, and they're true not only in this profession, but in most professions and
Correct.
just most everyday life. You're so correct.
Mm-hmm.
As we celebrate 100 years of SCBA, what makes you most proud of this community?
Well, I think we have outstanding lawyers here. I mean, I'm not to criticize other parts of the state. I mean, when I was in private practice, I spent a lot of time in other parts of the state, but I think our lawyers here are as good as anywhere. And I think there's a camaraderie here that I really believe is a good thing. As a judge, when I started over here, I didn't have much of a criminal practice, so I learned a lot. But the thing that I really learned is our court system involves a lot of different people. What I mean that is there's a lot of players, and I'm very into sports, and so I'd say we're a team.
That's right.
And this team over here is really good. And I mean, we're talking about not only judges, we're talking about lawyers, we're talking about clerks, we're talking about sheriffs, we're talking about probation officers, we're talking about pretrial people, and I'm missing some.
Yeah.
It takes, a whole team to make this system work. And I think I've been very impressed in all my over 20 years on the bench of how good a job all these people do, and they take their job seriously. And, if we didn't all work together, it wouldn't be a good system. So I think that to me, is what it's all about.
Yeah, agreed. Is there anything I didn't ask that you would like to share?
Well, I'm getting ready to retire here at the end of this year.
Congratulations.
So, well, yeah, I've kind of got mixed emotions, and
We might be pulling you over to the bar association.
I've really truly enjoyed being a judge, and I've kind of got mixed emotions about leaving because I know I'm going to miss it. And what I think I'm going to miss the most is the people.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed working with all these people, and I think I don't want to be, I like being around people, and I don't want to be isolated. But it's been a great job, and I'm just thankful that to have served in this capacity in this community, and hope I've done an okay job. And I'm going to miss it. But so I'm just, life's about relationships. I really believe that, and I've been blessed. I've had a great family, and I feel like good friends, but I've good co-workers too.
Right.
And I thank all of them for making my job fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Something to be missed. Yeah. All right. Well, that was fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time today and your great answers to your questions. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. I hope you got what you needed.
Yeah.